Broncos play the Knights on Sunday afternoon for Ben Hunt, our Messiah's 350th game at McDonald Jones Stadium, one of the great Sunday 2 p.m. venues. And the Knights season has been over for a while now. They're limping to Bali. The Broncos have made a few changes. Jaden Hunt starts. He'll match up against Kai Paul Pierce, pooed his pants in the 2008 finals, and Jesse Arthurs makes up the 17th man on the bench. So another week I'm asking, Brendan Piakura, are you okay? And where is VAR Arsemu? But respectfully, this should, by all measures, be a comfortable win for the Broncos. Right now, the Knights are bombing tries in front and losing to the Cowboys, making 23 errors. And while I could interpolate a whole bunch of lyrics from Dijon's new album and talk about where the Knights have been weak, basically across the park, which wouldn't work because the first two songs on that record exclusively make me cry, just a beautiful album. I have 2 kids already and cannot have another baby, but that man sings about it. I'm like, maybe I should have another baby. Plus, I've already made my Paul Pierce joke, so let's try something different again this week. I remember reading once that in sports writing, it's a hack trick to use narrative and analogy in an effort to avoid doing actual analysis. Like, if you haven't really watched the game closely, but you can say like, this guy's Conan the Barbarian or whatever, basically you are Bill Simmons, and hey, super obvious statement, Bill's a huge influence of mine, so guess what, baby, we're narrativizing this entire Broncos season. You ever heard of The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell? Because that's the trajectory that this Broncos season matches pretty closely, and spoilers, the hero's journey tends to end up pretty good for the hero. Yeah, that's right, I've got an arts degree, and you've probably seen a video essay before, so that puts us on equal footing, and it's book week. If you're unfamiliar, the hero's journey is this idea that most narrative stories, your Star Wars, your Akatars, your Dragon Ball Zs, all these have the same essential elements as the main character travels from the known through to the unknown and returns to the known as a changed person, the master of 2 worlds with the ability to solve the problem that set them off on their adventure in the first place. But now they're different. Frodo has PTSD. And the original is a 7-stage monomyth, and we're not doing all that, but we can do the 12-step version. Step 1, the ordinary world. Easy, we all live in that, and that's where the Broncos season takes place. Simple. Step 2, the call of adventure. That's round 1. And while it was a long time ago that they put 50 on the Roosters and looked like they were about to do that for 24 games of football, they answered their call and went on their way. Yes, adventure! Broncos start the season 4-1 and no one's realized how good the Canberra Raiders are yet, so that one doesn't matter. Step 3, refusal of the call, the losing streak. After putting 50 on the Tigers, they go 6-1 in their next 7 games. Lose Walsh to injury and look awful in the period around Origin 1, and the team realizes, man, the season is long and this sucks. Step 4, this is usually meeting the mentor, Yoda rocking up, Dumbledore being around, all your Rhysand types, and that doesn't really fit this Broncos season. And also, before you comment, Akatar mentioned I have takes about that book that make my wife angry after she shared an interest with me, and I was like, she uses too many M-dashes. But this step is other times called supernatural intervention, unexpected help in a difficult time when the hero is at a low point. Gandalf the White. And for the Broncos, it was Walsh the Healthy coming back into the lineup, which turned their season around and got them back on track. And that helps them get to step 5, crossing the threshold, which in terms of the football journey of this season, that's just not being bad anymore. And with Walsh back and the team returning to form, they're flying and they get through step 6, test allies and enemies, which is the origin period, every other team, and they're getting back to their winning ways with Walsh the Healthy, which is all helped by putting 60 on the bunnies. But they have to stop and have a look at themselves at step 7, approach to the inmost cave, and consider their own appearance after Parramatta shows them up with a few of their old bad habits reappearing, the giving away dumb penalties, the errors that let teams into their half, and being refereed by Todd Smith. And they're reminded they're not ready to return yet. Sadly, step 8 is the abyss, all hope is lost. The antagonist, in our case the Storm, is too powerful and the Broncos lose 2 key troops on the same play in Melbourne. That's Luke losing his hand to Vader at the end of Empire, the rebellion looking cooked, they've got no answers for Boba Fett. Throw him in a pit or something. That's my George Lucas. But despair not, because stage 9, hopefully where we're at now, is reward. And this is the hard part. How do the Broncos take what they've learned so far in their early dominance, where they were easily creating mismatches for their backs to exploit by having Haas rampage 2 men outside the ruck in their lowest, when they had the largest discrepancy of any team between repeat sets and penalties that they gave away compared to those called against their opponent, from the return of Walsh the Healthy and the wins that they've had since, and what he's shown he's capable of doing with the ball in his hands. The redemption of Billy Walters, who's been one of their best this season, and the Legolas of the team, Katoni Staggs, supernaturally making line breaks whenever he wants and providing cover defensively across basically an entire half of the field. And now with Ben Hunt, another mentor, being given the primary playmaking roles and the game management responsibilities, which are more than give ball to Walsh, but that's a good one too, there's opportunities for reward across the park. Now, the reward is the hardest part. Landing the plane on any good narrative is difficult. See the biggest television show of the last 2 decades. But look, let's just assume that in the next 3 games, the Broncos get their reward and make it at least into the finals, so we can get to step 10, the road back, which will be the finals, as the Broncos scratch and claw their way to step 11, resurrection, where they all atone for 2023 and in Hunt's case for 2015, which he doesn't need to do because of his origin try, but it would be nice. And it takes them to step 12, return with the elixir, in this case the premiership. Now that final bit is all a bit up in the air, but there's the potential for it, and the narrative fits the storytelling arc better than all the other teams that I haven't bothered to talk about. So, There you go, that's how the rest of the story goes. And it continues Sunday with the Knights. How much more hero's journey can you get them beating up on a bunch of evildoers? They're a New South Wales team after all, to continue the journey. So it's a 5-star season for me, and I'm going back to listen to Dijon more and hit on my own wife. And I'll talk to you about it when the game's done. Bye.